Honey, I Shrunk the Kids hit theaters in 1989 and became an unexpected box office phenomenon. The science fiction comedy followed eccentric inventor Wayne Szalinski, who accidentally shrinks his own children and the neighbor's kids to 1/4 of an inch tall with his experimental shrinking machine. Forced to navigate their own backyard, now a dangerous wilderness, the 4 miniaturized kids must work together to survive and find their way home. Over 3 decades later, let's see where the cast ended up. Rick Moranis starred as Wayne Szalinski, the bumbling yet brilliant inventor whose shrinking machine sets the adventure in motion. Born April 18, 1953, in Toronto, Rick got his start on SCTV in the early 80s, creating memorable characters including Bob McKenzie. Before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he'd become a comedy icon with Ghostbusters in 1984, Little Shop of Horrors in 1986, and Spaceballs in 1987 as Dark Helmet. The role of Wayne was originally written for Chevy Chase, but John Candy suggested his friend Rick instead. Rick reprised Wayne in the 1992 sequel, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and the 1997 direct-to-video Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. Throughout the 90s, he continued with hits including Parenthood in 1989, My Blue Heaven in 1990, and playing Barney Rubble in The Flintstones in 1994. But in 1991, tragedy struck when his wife Ann Belsky died from breast cancer, leaving Rick to raise their twins Mitchell and Rachel as a single father. After 1997, Moranis stepped away from live-action filmmaking to focus on his family, later explaining, "I went from working with wonderful people to being at home with a couple of little kids, but it was important to me." He limited himself to occasional voice work, including Rut the Moose in Disney's Brother Bear. In 2015, he clarified he hadn't retired, but had simply become selective about projects. In February 2020, Rick agreed to reprise Wayne Szalinski for a new sequel titled Shrunk with Josh Gad, but COVID-19 and budget cuts put the project on hold. In 2025, he signed on to reprise Dark Helmet in Spaceballs 2, scheduled for 2027, marking his official return to on-screen acting. Now 71, Rick Moranis remains one of comedy's most beloved figures. Matt Frewer played Russell Big Russ Thompson Sr., the gruff father whose pressure on his sons creates family tension. Born January 4, 1958 in Washington, D.C., Matt grew up in Canada and attended Bristol Old Vic Theatre School. Before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, he'd become a pop culture icon playing Max Headroom, a computer-generated television personality, in commercials and his own show. That same year, he began playing Dr. Mike Stratford on Doctor from 1989 to 1991. His portrayal of Big Russ, the sports-obsessed neighbor who clashes with Wayne's eccentric ways, provided a perfect foil to Rick Moranis' character. Matt continued playing memorable characters, appearing in 17 episodes of Shaky Ground from 1992 to 1993, and voicing the Pink Panther from 1993 to 1996. He portrayed Moloch in the 2009 Watchmen movie, voiced Panic in Disney's Hercules, and played Frank in the 2004 Dawn of the Dead remake. Stephen King fans recognize him as Trash Can Man in The Stand. Most of Matt's work has been in television, with extended stints as Dr. Aldous Leakey on Orphan Black and Logan on Fear the Walking Dead. Recent credits include The BFG, Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb, and 50-50 with Seth Rogen. Now 66, Matt Frewer continues working steadily in film and television. Marcia Strassman played Diane Szalinski, Wayne's patient wife who balances her real estate career with her husband's eccentric experiments. Born April 28, 1948 in New York City, Marcia began as a recording artist, releasing the top 40 hit The Flower Children in 1967. She became a household name playing Julie Cotter on Welcome Back, Cotter from 1975 to 1979, the same show that launched John Travolta. She'd also played Nurse Margie Cutler on MASH. Marcia brought warmth to Diane, perfectly balancing Rick Moranis' zany energy. She reprised her role in the 1992 sequel Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, and the 3D Disney theme park attraction. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience in 1994. Throughout the 90s and 2000s, Marcia continued working in television, appearing in shows like Tremors in 2003, where she played Nancy Sterngood, and Third Watch. In March 2007, she was diagnosed with advanced breast cancer that had spread to her bones. She published her memoir Life with a Side Order of Cancer in 2008. Over the years, Marcia also became a social and labor activist. Sadly, Marcia Strassman passed away from breast cancer at her Sherman Oaks home on October 24, 2014, at age 66. She was survived by her daughter Elizabeth Collector, sister Julie, and brother Steve. Her sister said she was the funniest, smartest person I ever met. If you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more nostalgic content about your favorite classic films. Christine Sutherland played Mae Thompson, Big Russ's wife and mother of Little Russ and Ron. Born Christine Young on April 17, 1955, in Scott Air Force Base, Illinois, Christine had appeared in The Last American Virgin before landing the role of Mae. Though her role in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was small, she brought warmth and kindness to the character, providing a softer counterbalance to her husband's gruff personality. After Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Christine's career took off when she landed what would become her most famous role. From 1997 to 2003, she starred as Joyce Summers, Buffy's mother, on the cult hit television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Her portrayal of the single mother trying to understand her daughter's supernatural calling resonated deeply with fans. While working on Buffy, Christine also pursued her passion for photography, working as a portrait photographer. She reprised Joyce Summers in the 2017 reboot of Twin Peaks. Since Buffy ended, Christine has worked selectively, appearing in guest spots on The Following and New Amsterdam. Between 2010 and 2011, she appeared in 4 episodes of One Life to Live as Dean Mackenzie. Her most recent film role came in 2016 in Rushton Doll. She's provided voice work for adventures in Odyssey and Ollie and Scoops. Christine was married to John Christian Walker from 2003 to 2004. Now 69, Christine balances selective acting work with her photography career. Thomas Wilson Brown played Russell Little Russ Thompson Jr., the 15-year-old who develops a crush on Amy during their adventure. Born December 27, 1972, Thomas was born in a car during a snowy Wyoming night. He spent his first 7 years on a 14,000-acre ranch before moving to New Mexico, where his father died of cancer when Thomas was 9. At 12, he answered a newspaper ad looking for a boy who could ride horses, landing the role of Augie in Silverado in 1985. In Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Little Russ struggles with his sports-obsessed father's expectations while being more introspective. His character's growth and romance with Amy became emotional anchors. The scene where he saves Amy from drowning with rescue breaths remains memorable. After the film, Thomas appeared in Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael in 1990, opposite Winona Ryder, and had a recurring role on Knots Landing from 1990 to 1991 for 26 episodes. He also appeared on Beverly Hills, 90210, Walker, Texas Ranger, Nash Bridges, Boy Meets World, and in Pearl Harbor. In the 2000s, Thomas transitioned to film production, working as location manager on various projects including assistant location manager on Unstoppable in 2024 about wrestler Anthony Robles. He also works as a writer, director, and producer. In 2020, he reunited with co-stars on Disney Plus's Prop Culture. Now 52, Thomas Wilson Brown has built a multifaceted career in entertainment. Jared Rushton played Ronald Ron Thompson, Little Russ's 12-year-old younger brother whose baseball through the Szalinski's attic window accidentally activates the shrinking machine. Born March 3, 1974, in Provo, Utah, Jared began acting at age 12 in Tales from the Dark Side. His first major film role came in 1987 when he played one of Kurt Russell's sons in Overboard. The next year, he achieved breakout success playing Billy, Tom Hanks's best friend, in the beloved 1988 film Big. Jared was riding high on Big's success when he landed Ron Thompson. His character, the brash, sarcastic teenager who shows bravery, provided comic relief. He was nominated for both a Saturn Award and a Young Artist Award. After Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Jared appeared as Chip Lang on 3 episodes of Roseanne. He continued playing teenage roles, most notably appearing as Clyde Parker in Pet Sematary 2 in 1992 and starring as Brian in A Cry in the Wild. He also had guest roles on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and ER. After his last acting role in 2000, Jared retired to pursue music. He became guitarist and vocalist for the rock band Deal by Dusk. Now 50 years old, Jared successfully transitioned from child actor to musician. Amy O'Neill played Amy Szalinski, the 15-year-old daughter who gets shrunk with her brother and the Thompson boys. Born July 8, 1971, in Pacific Palisades, Amy began auditioning at age 10 with her older siblings. She landed guest spots on Matt Houston, Night Court, Highway to Heaven, and Family Ties. In 1986, she won a role on The Young and the Restless, playing pregnant teenager Molly Stark. In 1989, she appeared in Desperate for Love and I Know My First Name is Steven. Her portrayal of Amy, the popular girl who develops a romance with neighbor Russ, showcased her natural charm. The scene where Amy nearly drowns in a muddy puddle and is rescued by Russ with CPR became one of the film's most emotional moments. Amy was nominated for a Young Artist Award. She reprised her role briefly in the 1992 sequel, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid. After this, Amy stepped away from acting, later explaining she wasn't comfortable with adult roles requiring nudity. In the mid-90s, Amy joined a circus troupe called Girls on Stilts, becoming an expert stilt walker who also learned fire breathing and juggling. She briefly returned to acting in the 2008 film The Japanese Sandman. In 2020, she reunited with co-stars on Disney Plus's Prop Culture. As of 2023, 52-year-old Amy works as a film producer developing Burn Down the Night about Jim Morrison's pre-Doors life. Robert Oliveri played Nick Szalinski, Wayne's 11-year-old son who shares his father's love of science. Born April 28, 1978 in Los Angeles, Robert was just 11 when cast as Nick. The casting directors looked for a child who could resemble Rick Moranis and embody Wayne's quirky personality. Robert's character arc, transforming from overlooked middle child to resilient survivor, highlighted family themes. His scenes navigating grass, hitching a ride on a giant bee, and bonding with his father became highlights. Robert received nominations for both a Young Artist Award and a Saturn Award. That same year, he had a small part in The Burbs, and the following year he played Kevin Boggs in Tim Burton's Edward Scissorhands. In 1992, Robert reprised Nick in Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, where his character had matured and developed a crush on Mandy Park, played by Kerry Russell in her film debut. In 1994, Robert appeared one final time as Nick in the 3D short film, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, which played at Disney theme parks from 1994 to 2010. After this, Robert left acting completely. According to sources, he now lives with his wife and children in Florida. Now 46, Robert successfully transitioned from child stardom to a quiet private life. Carl Steven played Tommy Purvis, the neighbor kid who almost mows down the shrunken children with his remote control lawnmower. Born Carlo Stephen Krakoff on November 7, 1974, in Glendale, California, Carl was the middle of three boys. As a child actor, Carl had built an impressive resume before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. At age 9, he portrayed young Spock in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock in 1984, becoming the first actor other than Leonard Nimoy to play the role in live action. He had recurring roles on Webster from 1983 to 1987, Punky Brewster, and Out of This World, where he played Quigley Handelsman. From 1988 to 1991, Carl voiced Fred Jones in A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, becoming the first actor besides Frank Welker to voice the character. In Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, his character Tommy nearly runs over the tiny children in one of the film's most suspenseful sequences. His final acting credit came in Weird Science in 1996 before retiring. Sadly, Carl's life took a tragic turn when he developed an addiction to prescription medications after a tonsillectomy. The addiction escalated to theft, and in 2009, he was arrested for committing 6 armed robberies at Walgreens and CVS stores. In 2010, he was sentenced to 13 years in prison. Carl Steven died of a heroin overdose on July 31, 2011, at age 36. He was survived by his wife Dawn Krakoff and their son Noah. Mark L. Taylor played Don Forrester, Big Russ's fishing buddy who tries to leave for a trip right as the kids disappear. Born October 25, 1950, in Houston, Texas, Mark had been working in Hollywood for years. In 1987, he appeared as Dr. Niles in Inner Space, where he portrayed a scientist involved in a miniaturization experiment, making it fitting that he'd appear in another shrinking movie 2 years later. After Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Mark built a prolific career as a character actor. He appeared in Arachnophobia in 1990 as Jerry Manley and High School Musical 2 in 2007, but most of Mark's extensive work has been in television and voice acting. He lent his voice to countless animated series including DuckTales, The Mask, the animated series A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, Dexter's Laboratory, The Powerpuff Girls, Darkwing Duck, Batman, the animated series, Superman, and Pinky and the Brain. His live-action work includes a recurring role as Dr. Louis Visconti in 20 episodes of Melrose Place from 1997 to 1999, and appearances on Star Trek The Next Generation, Ally McBeal, Boston Legal, and How to Get Away with Murder. Recently, he had a recurring role on Young Sheldon from 2017 to 2024 and appeared on NCIS in 2022. Mark has been married to Judy Taylor since 1975, and they have 2 sons. Now 74, Mark L. Taylor continues working steadily in both live-action and voiceover roles. From the actors who became Hollywood legends to those who chose quieter lives, and even those whose lives ended tragically, the cast's journeys reflect the diverse paths life can take after childhood fame. The film's legacy lives on through its innovative practical effects, heartwarming family themes, and the timeless question, what if the ordinary world became extraordinary? Who was your favorite character from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more nostalgic looks back at your favorite classic films.